What up? It's your boy T-Bear on Reaction. Today's Wrestling Wednesday. So we're gonna check out two videos, not the same video, but back to back though. We're gonna check out 10 times WWE fans hijacked a match. Thing about being a wrestling fan though, at times when the fans don't give a shit about the match because they don't like neither competitor or whatever, they will be rogue, which sucks at times. And the thing about that though, to me, when fans does that, it kind of kills them. It kind of kills the move for fans. When fans at live events does it, kind of kill the move for fans like myself who watch it on TV and as well too. Watching on the TV as well too was like, it kind of kill a moment. And you know, that's why sometimes folks actually appreciate the Thunderdome era a little bit as well too, because it was a breath of fresh air. It took a break from the asshole fans at time, fans who can be asshole time with the hijacking, such as just if they're not interested in the match, they'll start chanting random shit as well too. Start throwing around a beach ball, like at a musical fest, stuff like that. Though, and I mean, kind of, it's like, to me, it's kind of a negative. It's kind of negative in wrestling. That means that I understand that they're not interested because what the booking or anything though, but it still kind of like kill the move as well too, in my opinion. To me, but other than that, there's like I said, fans fans can get rogue as well too. So anyway, let's see the first 10 times that WWE fans hijack a match. Let's get it.
1, 2, is this on?
Crowds hijacking shows has become a common occurrence in modern wrestling.
Yep. Exactly, and he said it right. Modern wrestling. It never happened in the older times, like Attitude Era and all that as well too. Well, it happened, but rarely. But it started happening around the modern day, especially during the PG era, especially around this time, during when I was a fan of Roman, because he's faced every time. Because around this time, sadly, him being one of them part of it was when wrestling fans was on some bizarre worse shit for a long time. It was it's still happening here and there, but one point during a certain time and period in the area, it was Bizarre World. It was where they was cheering for most heels and booing most faces. Sadly, he was one of the faces getting booed, and then as well too, and at the time, Seth as a heel was getting cheered more. You know, he's a heel, so it was some bizarre work shit to kind of like, you know, put folks in the limit, kind of fuck things up. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get it.
As the fans look to send a message to those in the back that they don't like what they're seeing. That or the fans might be so uninterested in the match, the wrestlers, or the entire show in front of them that they'd prefer to just entertain themselves.
WWE Championship match in the ring, and these fans are doing a wave.
Then there are times when a crowd is so in favor of a specific wrestler that it can provide a hostile atmosphere for the opponent.
We're here at ringside WrestleMania 22 in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
John Cena versus Triple H.
For this list, we've decided to isolate specific matches where it was the crowd that stole the show.
Tomahawk chop going here in Atlanta. Make Briscoe proud. That's the biggest tomahawk chop of all time.
As we look at 10 times.
Okay, so there's on that is they hijack in a positive way than in favor of one wrestler. Well, depends. If it's a face wrestler, yes, but if it's a heel wrestler, well, then again, like I said, Paul at the time was a tweener at the time, so that's not a heel versus the face thing right there. So that's more like a tweener versus face thing, and it was for the tweener more, so that can let it slide, but we'll get it, but we'll see.
Hijacked a match. Savio Vega versus Mabel. To kick things off, we're going back to one of the earliest instances.
Like I said, it was rare back then, but why? But I can kind of see this because the way folks was not feeling Mabel at the time, aka Viscera, because his wrestling was the suspect. He was like before Hijacked and all that. It was like putting folks on shut because of injury. He's well too. At one point, he almost lost his job because he injured Diesel and his little feud with him as well too. But Diesel saved him though. But still, that's why after that little having a chance to go at a big title change, that why he fell from grace for a minute, and then later became Viscera, and then he was like in mid card to low card purgatory for a good minute.
Hijacking a match. And that takes us to the 1995 King of the Ring. This show is considered one of the worst pay-per-views the WWF has ever produced.
Wow.
Topped off by that year's King of the Ring tournament final between Savio Vega and Mabel. The fans were quiet for the early part of the match, with the action in the ring giving them nothing to shout about. The long rest hold spots didn't help, and eventually the Philadelphia crowd got so bored they started an ECW chant. Vince McMahon on commentary even somewhat acknowledges this by telling us to listen in.
Wow.
Although perhaps he thought the fans were actually getting behind the wrestlers in the ring. Either way, the next time the WWF came to Philadelphia on pay-per-view, wrestlers from ECW were featured in a prominent role.
Oh yeah.
Wrestling group here in Philadelphia, and obviously trying to make a name for themselves here.
So perhaps these chants inadvertently planted seeds for the ECW invasion that came further down the line. Although the fans here weren't as rowdy as they would be in the rest of the hijacks on our list. John Cena vs Rob Van Dam. Staying with ECW.
You already know with this one, because at the time, one, ECW fans did not like Cena, and the fact they're going against a homegrown guy, Rob Van Dam, yeah.
As we look at the iconic One Night Stand 2006 event and its main event for the WWE Championship, as Rob Van Dam challenged John Cena. Right from the entrances, it's clear that Cena is in enemy territory, with the crowd being just as much anti-Cena as they were pro-RVD. And despite being a massive babyface, John would receive one of the most negative reactions ever witnessed in wrestling. His signature shirt throw into the crowd was proof of this. Instead of the shirt being caught by one lucky fan like normal, it would be launched straight back at Cena multiple times, with some spitting on the shirt and one fan even wiping his ass with it. Soon, toilet paper would be thrown at Cena, and then the chants would begin.
Paper TP at the center.
Yeah.
Cena would embrace the heel reaction, at one point putting his feet on the rope for leverage, then taunting the crowd and later even punching out the referee. But it all caught up to John, with Edge running in and spearing the champion through a table, allowing Van Dam to capitalize with the 5-star frog splash. Paul Heyman was there to count the fall as RVD became the new WWE champion, being spurred on by one of the most raucous crowds in wrestling history. Kurt Angle vs Randy Orton. It wasn't just Cena who
that whole One Night Stand there, ECW. Well, this is that's ECW tradition. So pretty much, if you didn't really watch ECW like that, you was getting what the folks who was a faithful ECW fan would experience all the time. This was pretty much what it was.
The ECW fanatics at One Night Stand. As earlier in the card, Randy Orton received similar abuse during his encounter with Kurt Angle, who had just pledged his loyalty to the ECW.
Oh, this is the. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, hold on. This. Yeah, okay, this ain't like, yeah, this is when the time. Yeah, this is when the time when Angle joined ECW. He was a face. Okay, I was trying to figure out, was both heel versus heel. Nah, this is when he turned face with the wrestling. He was already turned face with the wrestling machine for a minute on SmackDown, and then he joined ECW as well too, rocking the mouthpiece. Reason why I was confused, because a year before the first One Night Stand, he was the heel going against ECW. Now he representing ECW. It was interesting.
Randy Orton. It wasn't just Cena who faced the brunt of the ECW fanatics at One Night Stand. As earlier in the card, Randy Orton received similar abuse during his encounter with Kurt Angle, who had just pledged his loyalty to the ECW brand. And since Orton, much like Cena,
it was fun, and I Craig By I thought about that. That's awesome too, because truthfully, ECW was the first company that gave Kurt Angle a run for remember.
As the prototypical WWE superstar, this meant the reaction from the New York faithful would be unforgiving, with one young fan even landing a mini punch to the arm of the Legend Killer during Randy's entrance.
Really?
And as if Orton couldn't feel any more out of place in ECW, his falling pyro gave the people added ammunition for the chants they were about to unleash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, lock and get your knees in it. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The Hornet's biting Angle.
Go fuck Cena.
Perhaps it
Yo.
was one chant too many for Orton, that or one ankle lock attempt too many, as Angle would finally lock in the submission hold. And with Orton not wanting Kurt to break his ankle again, he had no choice but to tap. This put an end to a good contest that was made even better by the fans' involvement, as the two examples we've covered from One Night Stand 2006 are cases where the fans hijacking the show enhanced.
Yo, is that KO? Oh shit, that's KO. That's Kevin Owens in the crowd. Oh, that was good. Good little spot right there.
John Cena vs Randy Orton. Thus far, we've seen
course.
two separate matches where a hostile crowd went against Cena and Orton. So imagine what happened when they wrestled each other in front of another rowdy audience, with the Viper defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This occurred at the 2014 Royal Rumble and was watched by a Pittsburgh crowd.
This is after another unification belt though. That's why he said WWE World Heavyweight Champion, because when the WWE Champion and the World Heavyweight Champion was unified.
Were fed up with seeing Orton and Cena wrestle. They made this known before the match even began, with the first of numerous chants for Daniel Bryan, someone the people were much more interested in seeing.
What do you see, King?
Yeah, though, you chant
Once things got underway,
name.
their usual "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants rang out. However, the fans would then direct their chants away from the match again.
You make us wish we were deaf. Never give up, even stronger.
The crowd would turn their attention back to the action briefly, although it wasn't because they liked what they were seeing.
Wow.
We're chanting everything under the sun here.
The audience did appear to get more on board with the match following a compelling sequence, which featured a ref bump, belt shot, multiple finishers, and a series of near falls. However, following this, the people were back to their old ways, as they made it known how they'd rather be watching the Divas instead. Then, after each man stole each other's finisher, it looked like Cena was about to secure the victory after locking in the STF in the center of the ring. But the Wyatt family's interference allowed Orton to take advantage with one final RKO, which ensured he retained his title. The Pittsburgh audience will have been happy to finally see the match end, but we can't fault the wrestlers, who still put in quite the shift in the ring. Only the fans were having none of it, as seen by how they reacted, since this was a match they simply did not want to see. Batista vs Alberto Del Rio. The 2014 Royal Rumble would also mark the return of Batista, much to the anger of many people who were upset to see the Animal win the Rumble match instead of fan favourite Daniel Bryan. The fallout saw Batista being booed out of arenas every week, as it was clear that audiences did not want to see him in the main event of WrestleMania. This was especially apparent just a month before the Show of Shows, when Batista battled Alberto Del Rio at the Elimination Chamber 2014. The crowd was so against Batista that they even began to cheer Del Rio, something that was a rare sight even when Alberto had previously been a babyface.
Ring the bell.
Del Rio tried to heal it up before the bell by pretending to be injured as a way of gaining the upper hand before the match got started, but this only led to him getting cheered with Del Rio chant.
Hey, Mexico's greatest export. They're actually cheering for Alberto.
Then came a chant that embodied,
like I said, Bizarro. Was Bizarro era of WWE at the time.
Batista's entire 2014 comeback run.
Batista, Lord.
Big Dave would also be reminded of who the crowd wanted to see at WrestleMania instead of him.
Well, you knew that Batista was going to want to compete.
The fans continued to ignore the match, this time chanting for wrestlers who either weren't with the company or on television at the time.
Yo, of course, CM Punk chants.
I think they're chanting, "We want Lesnar."
The fans would then get behind Del Rio. However, a collision with the exposed turnbuckle meant the Animal was able to take control, hitting the Batista bomb, which earned the win. Del Rio would reveal that during the match, Batista was taken aback by the crowd's reaction, but Alberto knew they just had to go with it, as the fans' minds were made up. Seth Rollins vs Baron Corbin. So as we've seen already, if certain crowds aren't interested...
Oh, yeah. I can see why they did this one, because this match definitely... like made folks, not me of course, but other folks, including my favorite YouTubers, Rawls, start not feeling stuff from a lot of this babyface funny anymore. It was sad though. I mean, the pay-per-view itself was kind of suspect as well too, but still. In the storyline, or either of the wrestlers performing, then the people will have no issue hijacking the match. And this was what happened at the 2019 Stomping Grounds pay-per-view, where Baron Corbin challenged Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Corbin revealed Lacey Evans as the special guest referee. The fans weren't happy with this or the direction of the story and chanted, "This is stupid," as a result. Yeah. And the thing about it wasn't even Seth's fault. It was just how they booked them. And this is the opponents they was booking them against, though, was made it bad, though. And the thing about it, though, 9 times 10, it's not the wrestler itself. It's who they booked them against and stuff, and how they booked them as well, too. It's the situation with him, situation with Roman during his babyface run as well, too. Kofi's championship run, Big E's championship run, like... They just don't do it right, and it's kind of like almost about to be the same thing with Cody if they don't get it right, though. But we'll see. I hope not, though. I mean, hopefully Cody finishes the story, but we'll see.
Voicing their displeasure with the choice.
They then decided to shift their focus away from the match by chanting for other wrestlers and even a rival promotion.
Oh, yep, and that ain't help either. And that ain't help either, because, you know, folks was ready to quit WWE, and AEW was a breath of fresh air for folks. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure it was official yet, but it may have been, but either way, yeah, they was looking for that breath of fresh air, and it happened, so, yeah.
Got a little bit of
yeah, I think it is. I think it did came out because it was September 2009, and yes.
The wrestlers were, however, able to garner a good reaction after Seth powerbombed Corbin through the announce table. However, given the match was more storyline driven than action focused, it was always going to be a struggle for the wrestlers to keep the crowd, since the fans didn't even like the storyline to begin with, as the match was forced to restart twice to try and get over how much Seth was being screwed over by the heel ref, Lacey Evans. The fans did chant for Becky Lynch though, and popped once she made her run in, which then allowed Rollins to take over as he hit a curb stomp to get the win and retain the Universal Championship. In the end, the wrestlers were put in a tough spot, as the match was built up poorly on television in the weeks prior. This then led to a negative response when Lacey Evans was revealed as the guest referee, that in turn resulted in the people in the building ignoring the match. 6 women tag. The Raw after WrestleMania is always a highlight of the WWE calendar each year, as it's always the most hardcore of hardcore fans that go to the show. This makes for quite a party atmosphere as people flock from all over the world to attend. And while the fans will still get behind their favorites, if the action in the ring doesn't interest them, they'll have no problem hijacking the match. There have been countless examples of this happening over the years, and the first one we'll look at went down at the Raw after WrestleMania 31 in 2015, where a 6 women's tag team match saw AJ Lee, Paige, and Naomi take on Natalya and the Bella Twins. The match began with chants of "We Want Bayley," who at the time was a member of the NXT roster.
By Natalya trying to do the same to Naomi, and she does.
But it would be during the commercial break that the chants became less PG, as the audience would aim chants at the women in the match and their boyfriends, first starting with Nikki Bella and her then partner, John Cena. Attention then turned to the married women in the match and their husbands.
Hey! Oh!
The chants fizzled out as the show returned from the break. As the fans began to get on board with the match,
I think that loss affected the Bella Twins. Bella wants that revenge. Nikki Bella wants to do the same thing.
and this seemingly spurred the babyfaces on, as they managed to get the victory after Nikki struck Brie by accident, which allowed Naomi to hit the rear view, which got the 3. In the end, the match didn't come off too badly on television, with the crude chants occurring mostly during the commercial, but these chants are proof of just how crazy the Raw after WrestleMania crowd can be. Randy Orton vs Sheamus. Next, we'll highlight the match that started it all when it came to the fans really hijacking a match during the Raw after WrestleMania. Randy Orton took on Sheamus, and it's fair to say that neither man would have expected how the crowd was about to react to their match. The chants began straight away with the fans singing "Ole."
Well, you're right about that, and you know what that means? Absolutely anything can happen in this match. I love it.
They then started chants for Mikey Oda, Dolph Ziggler, and pretty much anyone but the wrestlers in the ring.
Well, they was cheering for it's rough. Damn.
It's funny, you're hearing a lot of chants
We
Lord,
tough time. Oh yeah, JBO. We went through a tough time in wrestling, man. As a wrestling fan, man, we really did, man. Jesus, wrestling is.
saying they're brilliant. Now they're chanting for Lawler. They're chanting my name. Nuts. There they go. Did you just see the look on Sheamus' face? Randy Savage.
The Big Show then interfered, which put the match to a stop, which the people thanked him for.
Thank you, Big Show.
Then the crowd gave themselves a pat on the back as the segment came to a close.
Big Show doing what he can because he can.
This match was significant as it not only set the tone for the future Raw after WrestleMania shows, but it would also influence how future crowds would behave whenever they didn't care for a match taking place in the ring, with chants for wrestlers not in the match and Mexican waves becoming more common. John Cena and Roman Reigns versus The Miz and Samoa Joe. Our final two entries on the list
because they did not like Cena and he didn't like Babyface Roman. What's sad, man?
are examples of our wrestling.
Never got understand. Still to this day, never understand why, especially with Cena and especially with Roman Reigns. No matter how I explain, I never understood that, but yeah.
A match. First, we have a tag team match from Raw in August 2017. Here, John Cena teamed with Roman Reigns to face The Miz and Samoa Joe. Right when the match got underway, Cena would stop to acknowledge the fans playing with a beach ball. Cena then got upset, much like the crowd did once security took away the beach ball.
Beach ball looks familiar from last night at SummerSlam.
The same thing happened the night prior to SummerSlam where Cesaro jumped the barricade and destroyed the beach ball after it had been confiscated. Both of these were cool moments that added to each
I get it. Yeah, man, that's annoying. Like you can't blame them. Like we're trying to entertain, we're trying to put more on a show for folks, and they doing that. You can't blame them for that, man. For real.
Instead of taking away from them, like would have been the case had the wrestlers just ignored what was going on. There was still more to come, however, when it came to the Raw match. Fans first rained down asshole chants at the security for taking the ball away.
Samoa Joe still in a foul.
We want beach ball chants then followed.
Remember, these two met the mixed tag team.
To keep themselves entertained, the crowd then busted out a Mexican wave, much to the frustration of The Miz in the ring.
And Roman Reigns earlier that this is his show.
But it was much to the delight of Cena, who decided to join in with the wave, when in another fun moment, John once again addressed the audience, hijacking the match, when most wrestlers would have simply ignored it and continued working.
John Cena thrives under these situations.
Lord.
Fans didn't attempt to hijack things any further, as the team of Cena and Reigns picked up the win when Cena countered a skull crusher.
That's the thing. See, Cena, that's the thing about Cena. He will play along with it and still be a babyface. So that
finale into an attitude adjustment in what was an overall fun match thanks to the wrestlers' response to the Brooklyn crowd's antics. John Cena vs Dolph Ziggler. As just saw, Cena is a pro when it comes to reacting to fans. He can take something that might normally take away from a match, or as we'll see, a promo, and turn it so it adds to them. One of the best examples of Cena reacting to a crowd in a match occurred when John defended the United States champion vs Dolph Ziggler in an open challenge on Raw in 2015. Early on, Cena noticed some rumblings from the crowd and immediately looked over to see what was going down. Once he realized what happened, Cena told Ziggler to lay out as John grabbed the mic. A successful marriage proposal occurring in the crowd shows us how anything truly can happen in the WWE.
She said yes, we got a married couple here tonight.
Yup.
As she said yes chants then echoed throughout the arena. Cena and Dolph finished out a very good back and forth match, continuing to keep the crowd invested, with the finish coming after an out of nowhere AA. Now while this match wasn't a typical fan hijack like other entries on this list, it was an example of a specific moment temporarily hijacking a match. But since it was noticed by Cena and then acknowledged on camera, it resulted in a unique moment that was followed by an awesome match. So as we've seen, the fans can hijack a match in numerous different ways. It's always interesting to see how the fans react, as without them, wrestling can get very boring very quickly.
If you want to know what 316 Day is all about, give me a hell yeah.
Yeah, the salad crowd thing was a little boring, but when they did the Thunderdome, it was a little better though. I mean, gave us a break from the hijacking as well too. But yeah.
And that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video,
so there you have that's the first one of 10 times the fans hijack a match. So yeah. Like I said, most of the time it's in a negative way, but there's some positive way too. Like I said, with the situation with the John Cena situation as well too. But or go for the crowd. But other than that, yeah, most of the time they was on here it's because they didn't like the mashup, they didn't like the storyline, or they didn't like the superstar, which was kind of energy and moment draining at that time. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.